Now, after saying so many times that I'm going to eventually get around to doing my vinyl backlog, I decided to pull finger and do it. So this is kind of going to be in like an approximate order of what I got them in. I can't remember the exact order because I've been collecting vinyl for over a year now. So, and I've got quite a few pieces, so I'm not entirely sure what order they come in, but I'll do my best. Not that it really matters, because you guys won't know anyway. First up, I guess I should take it out of the sleeve to avoid reflectivity. Tim Heggar, Rave Death 1972. Probably like the album that got me into ambient music. I love this album so much. Like, I don't know how many times I listened to it when it first came out. It's somewhere in the hundreds though. I love that album. Next up, The Antlers, Hospice. This is a kind of love it or hate it album, I guess. Some people are like, oh, the songs sound the same, they're so boring and simple, but the emotion, man. Unfortunately, it's not a very good piece of vinyl. As soon as I got it, there were tracks that skipped, and I don't know, it hasn't held up very well in terms of quality. Like, I've played it a few times, or tried to play it a few times since getting it, and it just won't do it. It won't play, which just sucks. Next up, Carissa's Weird, Songs About Leaving. This is a cool album. When they reissued all the albums on vinyl, I think it was last year. In 2010. They were all issued on coloured vinyl. This is on a sort of green, minty, ghosty, whatever you want to call it thing. And I remember when I first opened it and pulled that out, I was incredibly happy. I was like, oh my god, look at it, it's coloured. It's so pretty. So that was a nice little surprise. I'm really fond of this album as well. Even though there's a few grammatical errors in the lyrics, which really irks me. But whatever. Still an awesome album. This Will Destroy You, Tunnel Blanket. Not as fond of this album as I thought I initially was. It's still a really good, decent album, I think. But yeah, this is cool as well. When I bought it, I thought I was getting the I think it was clear with black, I forgot what the proper term for it is, but it's actually black with white, white with black, whatever you want to call that, which is still cool. I mean, the other one looked way cooler, which is kind of why I went to buy it on vinyl, and I thought I was getting that one. But I got this one instead, but it's still a pretty awesome looking piece of vinyl. Get back in the sleeve, please, sir. That'll do. One of my favourite albums. Now, actually I've never gotten flack for this yet. I prefer this to Loveless. I do. I do. I prefer Slowdive as a band to My Bloody Valentine. Not to say that I don't like My Bloody Valentine, but I just prefer Slowdive. Ooh, next up, one of my all-time favourite albums, Joanna Newsom, Yeast Infection. Awesome presentation on the vinyl. It's sort of like, almost like a storybook when you open it. The inner sleeve and the lyrics, all that are like stuck in there. And it's sort of like a little book, which I'm quite fond of. Because I mean, her songs are like little stories, I guess, just with really awesome musical accompaniment. Love that album. And next up, more Joanna Newsom. Have one on me. Fortunately, the box hasn't. It's got a couple of like little white marks on it, which I think might be mould, which is a little worrying. Triple LP, it's in a nice little box. Its presentation is awesome. Awesome album. Although with a triple album, I think, you know, you're bound to have a couple of songs that you're not entirely fond of. which is quite odd. I mean, you know, she went from doing a 5-song album to an 18-song album. Still, really awesome album. Great songs, and some not so great songs. Just like any album, I guess. Now a complete leap from Trinity some to Electric Wizard, Dope Throne, one of the best doom metal albums ever. God, I love this album. It's just so heavy. Yeah, awesome album. I remember when I first listened to it, I was just like, what, that tone, that guitar tone, oh man. Downward Spiral, nothing else, speaks for itself, I think. This is the Back to Black reissue. Not sure when it was reissued, doesn't say. Still, great album, sounds great because it's all remastered for vinyl. I'm going to take these out of the sleeve because they've got an extra thing on the back. The first two of the Smashing Pumpkins reissues, which I remember I was quite excited for because they've been one of my favourite bands since birth. One of the first albums I ever heard was Gish, because my mum owned it, and the song Rhinoceros has been one of my favourite songs since I was a wee lad. What's next? I don't care if this is an incredibly popular mainstream album, I still think it's pretty brilliant. Bon Iver's Bon Iver. Bon Iver? I think it's double titled. Bit of a confusion as to what the actual title is. Is it Bon Iver or is it Bon Iver Bon Iver? Who really cares? I was quite stoked when I saw this album on vinyl. The parentheses, or two sausages, whatever you want to call it, brackets, untitled, self-titled even, Sigur Rós. Pretty awesome packaging. Like, this has sort of got a matte finish with it. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, not really. The brackets put like they're, what's it called, gloss on the sleeves, and the brackets are cut out on the front, so very nice packaging. All pretty, just like you'd expect from a band like Sigur Rós. The coveted Death Consciousness. There's the more well-known artwork. Unfortunately the corners are a little bent, which happened in shipping, I assume, because it came all the way from Connecticut to Lillipilli, Australia. Oh, what a shitty place this is to live. So, awesome album. Everyone wants it, no one has it. Haha, very limited. Elliott Smith, Either Or. One of my favourite, Elliott Smith is one of my favourite artists, one of my favourite albums of his. Although all of his albums are some of my favourites of his. Get back in the sleeve. Oh, there's a bin in the corner, I didn't notice that. Oh, this one I'm very fond of. The Knife, Silent Shout, one of my favourite electronic albums ever. Just awesome songs, awesome crazy vocal production, and Karen, what's her last name? Does it have an O and a J in it? It's not on the packaging. I still need to get Fever Ray. I really like that album as well. Mastodon, Remission. Now this is pressed on wicked, awesome, cool, coloured vinyl. Wax, whatever you want to call it. It's all trippy, and I remember I saw this a few years, when it first came out actually, on the Relapse website. Sort of purple and pink on one side and pink and purple on the other, sort of. They're slightly different shades. One's a bit lighter, one's a bit darker. Both records are like that, and that's one of my favourite looking LPs, double LP sets, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And finally for today, we're keeping it at just on 10 minutes, or thereabouts. Bong Ripper, Satan Worshipping Doom. The first sort of doom metal, I guess it's doom metal album that I thought I love the artwork on this. It's so ridiculously it's so ridiculously evil that you can't take it seriously, and I'm sure that was the intention, because I know that the guys must have a sense of humour. I mean, they named the album Satan Worshipping Doom. Oh, this is the gatefold pressing, which I think is the most recent one. Would have liked to have gotten the, I think there was a red on black, or red and black, sorry, pressing, but still awesome album, awesome artwork. And that's all for today. Next up will be the next lot of my backlog. There's probably going to be a couple of repeats from older videos because I can't remember the order as I mentioned earlier on. Farewell.